What is up, everybody? It has been way too long since I have had Josh Mettle on the Mortgage Coach YouTube. Josh is a prolific producing leader. I mean, he's been just an epic top 1% mortgage professional and a top 1% leader of other mortgage professionals. Today, he is a leader of a region for Neo Home Loans. He is the co-head of faculty for Loan Atlas. And I am doing a whole series of conversations with who I just think are some of the best leaders in the industry on how to win right now in spring home buying season. It is the first couple of weeks of April. And Josh, welcome, brother.
Thanks. Good to be with you. Good to be with the Mortgage Coach community. Hope everybody is, I don't know, are we excited or are we scared to death what's going on in the markets? But whatever it is, I hope you're fired up for what's happening. It's going to be a great year.
Oh, well, I will tell you, I think the folks that are winning, and I know a lot of people are winning, and you know people that are winning because you've got the data of some of the people under your leadership and who's winning and who's losing. And I think that the path and the actions of winning have never been more clear,
No
and the
doubt.
path and actions of struggling have never been more clear. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, and when there's volatility and when there's fear in the market, there's always an opportunity to show your authority, and there's always an opportunity to be a leader and show the path. So, we've been showing people, clients, look, if you would have worked with somebody else and you would have locked before all of these gains in the market came, you would have locked at a 0.5% higher rate. So all of these things that are scary, all of these things that are capturing headlines, they're all opportunities for us to use them as marketing collateral. They're opportunities for us to bring those up in our sales presentations and to position those external events as a reason to do business with you because you can guide people through this trying time.
Yeah. Well, before we, hit the topic in the headline, killer conversion tactics, tell me if you agree with this. I mean, one of the biggest news headlines as of recently has just been Rocket. First they acquired Redfin, then they acquired Mr. Cooper. 1 in 6 mortgages are going to be under their management, and I believe there will be more big headlines to come. Like I don't think that's the last like jaw-dropping headline, whether it's Rocket, whether it's Zillow, whether it's, who knows who is going to consolidate and big players are going to get bigger. I think if you're a loan officer and you're a local referral-based purchase-focused loan officer, your biggest concern should be the people like you, the people that I interview are all rocket-proofing their business. They're all upgrading their customer experience. They're all delivering this great experience, leveraging Mortgage Coach, using Trust Engine data, and they are just going to get better. And that is who you should be afraid of. And so every loan officer, if you're local referral based, you need to modernize, you need to upgrade. Thoughts?
Yeah, so this gets into the crux of what I wanted to talk about. Look, the primary value proposition from Rocket is going to be you should use us because we have lower combined costs. We can offer you a lower rate. We can offer you lower real estate fees. And those things are probably true. If you bundle those things together, you probably can. But that exactly sets the stage of our industry right now. You are either going to fight on price or you are going to fight on advice and your ability to connect. Now, I've been in an interesting position. As you know, Neo joined forces and is now powered by Better. And we are in the process of ingesting the purchase leads that Better was formerly distributing out to their consumer direct teams. That's 30,000 purchase leads a month that they're generating. And in the process of preparing for all of this, we've been listening to, and I've been recording the sales calls. We have a process called the Neo Way, and it includes a dreams and goals call, which is the initial phone call with a client, a pre-purchase consultation, which is essentially the sales presentation to the customer, and then an under contract call, which is once the client goes under contract to cement them in and make sure you understand every moving piece of that transaction. So there's literally no chance of that deal blowing up. And here's what I found. Dave, I've listened to well over 50 hours of live mortgage advisor to customer interaction. And here's what really amazed me. The people inside of our groups that are doing 6, 7, 8, 9, $10 million a month in production, and the people that are doing that have one loan in their pipeline, it's not luck. They didn't get lucky that they're closing 7 million this month. It's not that they're in a better area. It's not that they have lower rates. They are just better. Their ability to connect with the customer, their ability to ask not only the first question, right? Because everybody says, well, can I get a script for that? Well, the best script is going to give you 1 or 2 questions, but the best originators, they're asking the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th order consequence question, which is when you really get into the meat of things. And before they ever get into talking about the mortgage and real estate, there's a friendship growing there. There's a relationship that's building there, right? Todd Duncan always talked about high trust selling. They're creating relationship and trust before they ever get into the mortgage. And they're gathering enough information in that first call, which we call the dreams and goals call, that now they're armed with the information they need to give you really transformational advice. Then they show up to that pre-purchase consultation or that sales consultation, and they perception check. Hey, Dave, based on our dreams and goals call, what I think I heard you and Kelly tell me was, A, you wanted to make sure that you weren't buying into a housing bubble. B, you had outgrown your house. You've got 4 kids now and 3 dogs, and you really need to move, but you're freaked out about leaving your 3% mortgage rate. And last but not least, you don't know how you're going to afford that bigger home. Did I get that right? Yeah, you got that right. Great. The next 60 minutes is going to be us talking about how we're going to navigate those 3 challenges and get you into your new home. So they really understand the customer. They perception check the customer's problems or hesitations, and then they lay out what we call pre-purchase consultation. It could be your sales presentation, but you demonstrate. You don't use some half-ass script. You actually demonstrate to them, here's how we're going to solve for all of those things and make you confident to move forward. And what surprises me, Dave, is this, and I'll pause and let you jump in. The gap, Dave, between the people closing 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 million a month and those with one loan in their pipeline, it is huge. It is massive. Like, the people at the top are so good at creating connection, and the people at the bottom are atrocious. Like, they're just not good at communicating. But that gap is the opportunity. It's almost, at first to me, it was discouraging as I'm listening to these 50 hours. And then by the end, I'm like, no, this is an incredible opportunity. If we're listening to our interactions with clients, we're digesting it, we have a huge opportunity to improve. So that's really been like the last 90 days of my life is working through that. And it's been a lot of fun.
So do you hear that, guys? So first of all, for all you managers out there, when is the last time you really listened, whether you listened to a call or you listened to a recording a call, and you audited your team? This Monday, I did every Monday on LinkedIn, and sometimes I post it on Facebook and put it into our Facebook group. I do a Monday leadership message that's, specifically to producing managers. And I'm like, don't give up on yourself and don't give up on your team. Now, by the way, if you have given up on somebody, Brian Hale gave me a quote. I think it's something like, the most expensive and the, money you'll ever have is the day that you gave up on someone until the time that you actually help them onto their next adventure in business. And so for producing managers, guys, it is go time. Like, it is spring home buying season. The gun went off on April. Over the next 4-ish months, this is where we do a lot of purchase business and where careers in years are made. So I hope you got that message. I would say, like, right now, you may want to pause this if you're watching this on YouTube and just kind of make your own notes on what Josh said. And then like, let's say you're a producer, score yourself. How good are you doing on that dreams and goals call? Like, and are you asking just one question and going next? One question, next. Larry King, the one time I got that 10-minute conversation with him, the question after the question is always the best question. I learned that firsthand from him. So score yourself on that. And then when it comes to the presentation of value, that's where you're delivering a mortgage coach. I love how you did that edification before you're actually presenting mortgage coach. You're like, hey, did I hear this right? So anyways, keep going, brother.
Perception
Great.
checking. Yeah.
Perception.
Yeah. So if I was like to give one piece of advice to other, leaders out there, or it doesn't matter, mortgage advisors out there, if you're not closing $6 million a month, you're not as good as you think you are. I'm sorry. Like, I'm just going to be totally honest. There is a vast difference between the people who are closing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 million a month and everybody else. And if you're not, it's not the market, it's not the interest rates, it's not anything else. It's just incumbent on you to get better. Okay, so that's number one. How do you get better? You get better by recording your calls. You get better by driving clients to Zoom meetings and recording the Zoom meetings. Every iPhone, if you've updated your iPhone, you can click a button and you can record the call. And the script is like this. Hey, Dave, you know what's cool? My son Xander just taught me that I could record calls and then it would transcribe all the notes. Would you mind if I recorded this call and then I'll take a transcription and send you the notes afterwards? I found it's very helpful. Would you mind that?
Script alert. Guys, start using that. What a beautiful script.
Ding, you record the call. Now you have permission to use that. That's your training material. And you go back through it. And let me tell you a few of the things that you're going to catch. I have a $100 million producer on my team. I listened to a recent call of his and he said, and 32 times. 32 times. Now we get a coach around that. Now are we ever going to get ums and uhs to zero? No, of course. I say them all the time. But people have these catchwords that they say to fill the void when they're waiting for their brain to catch up. And when you say that catchword over and over again, it starts to inhibit your influence because it starts to distract the person you're having a presentation with or that you're speaking with. I would have never known that if I didn't listen to his sales presentation. I have another producer who's a great producer, and his script when he went in to started to give the value proposition was, well, what we try to do that is a little bit different than other mortgage companies is, and I'm like, oh, bro, like you just decimated your own influence there. The script needs to be rewritten as, Dave, when you and I decide to work together, what is going to make this experience different than any other mortgage professional you've ever worked with is the way that I'm going to A, B, C, D, which hopefully dovetails with the things that Dave and Kelly told me are problems that they're trying to overcome. So there's little things like that you'll pick up in your own scripting. Somebody will toss you a softball like, hey, sorry, I'm a few minutes late to the call. I was just getting back from my son's baseball game. Cool. Are you ready to jump into the numbers? Oh gosh, are you kidding me? The first 30 minutes should have been about baseball and kids. And then you get into the numbers, man. But you'll lose that in the moment. But when you listen to your recordings, you'll pick it up and you'll learn. And then leaders, you get your top producers to record their calls, and then you teach the bottom half with the top half's recordings. And that's how we're trying to up level our teams. And even the top producers, there's things that you'll catch where you're like, could have asked another question. That seemed important to them. Did you count how many ums and ahs? There's things that you'll pick up. There isn't an NBA player, NFL player, there isn't a professional athlete in the world who doesn't go home and watch their game film within 24 hours. Why don't we do it? We don't do it in this industry. We got to start doing it.
I love this. So at the beginning of this month, we kicked off a challenge that we're calling the Win 30 Challenge. And it's really simple. It's 30 days. And by the way, it has nothing to do with the month of April. I kicked it off because I thought about it. It's spring home buying season. What's a good 30-day burn for everybody? And I wanted to make it like anybody could do this. Like I didn't want to make it 75 hard. 75 is hard.
Hard.
So this is 10 conversations, quality conversations a day. And by the way, Josh just gave you the framework for a quality conversation. You're looking for, dreams and goals. That's part of a quality conversation.
Connect.
You're looking for needs. By the way, if you do that and you look for needs, you will connect. You want to be interesting, be interested, and it just works. You'll connect. And then when you're giving a presentation, part of the challenge is 10 quality conversations, 2 TCAs a day, mortgage coach, total cost analysis, because we want to have quality conversations. And if you're just giving a fee worksheet and selling loans, Josh said earlier, they're going to fight on price. And if you give a fee worksheet, you're fighting on price. You're like, here's my rate, here's my payment, here's your cash close. Or you are going to compete on coaching and advice. That's a total cost analysis. And then number 3, you're going to do a 30-minute or more walk every day for 30 days straight. I do about a 45-minute with a ruck vest. I would push you guys to do more than a 30-minute walk. But if you just did a 30-minute walk every single day for 30 straight days, you're going to do well. What are your thoughts on that challenge, Josh?
I love it. I think we have to, I think we've been through a couple of hard years, Dave. And I think a lot of people are burnt out. I think a lot of people are frustrated. I think a lot of people are kind of, more or less in a rut. And simultaneously, I'm watching people around me have 6, 7, 8, 9, $10 million months. And I'm like, man, there is a vast difference. So a challenge, if you're feeling in a rut, or if you're already performing at a high level and you want to go higher, a challenge is something to aspire to. A challenge is something to say, I'm going to be disciplined around doing this thing. And what I know for myself is when I'm doing good in my physical life and my family life, business seems to be easy, right? Like if ever the rest of my life is balanced, I'm in a good place. Business seems to work. When I'm not taking care of myself, I'm drinking a little too much wine, I'm not in a good place with my wife and my family, business seems really hard because the energy that I'm showing up with and projecting outwards isn't the energy that people want to hang out with. It's the energy that kind of like pushes people away.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, so I think you crushed the quality conversations in terms of mortgage coach and giving call it the presentation of value, or you have a phrase, the dreams and goals calls, and then you call, is it transformational presentation? What do you call it?
Pre-purchase consultation. So yeah, dreams and goals call it for us is usually somewhere between 30 minutes and they go as long as 60 minutes. And really it's a series of questions, but really the point of it is number one, to connect. Number one, to once you've connected, to build trust so that person wants to do business with you. And then you get into the mortgage and you start asking them the things that are holding them back. Why now? Yeah, I know, but why now, Dave? Like your lease was up last year too. Why are you buying now? Like get into the why behind why they're buying, get some of their information about what they're want to do with their new home. And then we're going to drive them to a Zoom meeting. Usually that first call is a phone call, although some of our mortgage advisors do it by Zoom. Then we drive them to what's called the pre-purchase consultation. And that pre-purchase consultation is to address any of the concerns that they brought up in that first meeting. Look, Fannie Mae tells us that the last number that I saw was like 72% of home buyers, people that are actively considering buying a home in the next year, think it's a terrible time to buy a home right now. So that should be the part of every conversation. Like, what's been holding you back? What fears do you have? Are you excited or are you fearful? You got to address that in your sales presentation. And then, of course, once you've addressed those issues and anything that's inhibiting them moving forward, and you've got them fired up, like Daniel Saw did such a great interview last year with you, and he said, the sales presentation, your number one job is to get them fired up about buying a home. That's exactly right. And then we go into loan options. I do have a TCA that I've done for a client that I'm more than happy to share if we've got enough time to give you an idea of the advice component so that it's not just price.
Well, we're gonna make time. I do, Daniel Saw killed it. He talks about you got to get people super excited about buying right now, despite the fact that values are high,
That's
interest rates are high. Dan Keller at the Modern Mortgage Summit used 3 words that I have not forgotten and I love. And he's like, I'm getting people financially fired up. And I just love that.
Oh, I love that.
Financially fired up. So, okay, guys. So, Josh, how are you getting people financially fired up right now in this market, and show a TCA?
Well, the first thing we're doing is we're showing them over a lot, going back to 1942, that the market goes up 90% of the time. It's had 74 up years. 7 down years, and 2 sideways years, I think are the numbers. And you show them that over the long term. Then you walk them through the information for their local community and the appreciation, and then you show them how much wealth that's going to build for them. So you have to take away the fear. You have to replace the fear with greed, right? And show them what that upside looks like. There's a whole slide deck with that. But the other piece of the puzzle that I'll share in the 4 minutes we have left is you really have to address their problem. And the problem that's holding most people back right now has to do with rate and affordability. So this was a past customer of mine. I helped him buy their $400,000 house. That house is now worth $650,000. They've outgrown it, and they're looking to move up to an $800,000 house. The problem is their payment of $4,600 a month is like blowing them out of the water. So they're essentially on the sideline. Like, we've decided this isn't the right time for us. Okay, I heard them loud and clear in the Dreams and Goals call. So this is the presentation I came back to them with when we did our pre-purchase consultation. So I said, look, here's what it looks like, 30-year fix. This is what everybody else is looking like. And this is why people are on the sidelines, because this $4,600 payment's super inhibited. Like, that's a heavy payment. So here's a couple strategies. We could use this slack in the market, and the reason why things are a little slow right now are because these elevated rates, but that means that we can get concessions from sellers. So we can use that a couple of different ways. We can use it as a price reduction. Let's just say we get 3.5%, which I take them to Redfin. I show them their local market. The homes are selling about 3% under list price. So I kind of benchmark that to what's going on in Redfin. And then I show them we could use that to reduce the price, but big whoopee, it only saves you $160 a month. Conversely, we can take that same concession of 3.5% or 27,500, and we can use it on what we call a seller payment subsidy program. So I try to steer away from a buy down language, and I call it a seller payment subsidy. And I say we can actually use the seller's $27,500 to subsidize your payments for the first 3 years. And in year number 1, that means you're going to save $1,126 a month instead of $160 a month. And look, at the end of the day, this isn't a 30-year problem of having elevated interest rates. This is a 6 to 12 month problem. So we just need to solve with the seller payment subsidy the problem around this payment to get it down into your range. And we'll be looking to restructure this indebtedness as soon as interest rates come down, which mortgage rates are cyclical. We know that they'll come down sooner or later. And we'll decide on a strike rate where it makes sense to refinance that indebtedness. So long story short, right? Their primary problems that I uncovered in the Dreams and Goals call was we don't want to buy into a bubble and see things explode. So we went through demographics, we went through appreciation, we showed them the homes go up 90% of the time, got them financially fired up. Thank you, Dan Keller, about the housing market over the long term, because they're going to be in this house for 10 to 15 years because they've got young kids. And so this is a 10 to 15 year home. So we showed them over the long term, it's statistically impossible over 15 years not to make money in real estate. It's never happened before, right? Bam, they're fired up. Okay, now how do we solve the next problem? The next problem is this damn payment. Okay, cool. Now we solve this problem for the next 3 years, and here's how we're going to solve the problem for the next 30 years.
Boom, speed to need, guys. If you want to win in the market to come, you need to get to the needs of the consumer and even get to them predictably. That's why here at Mortgage Coach in our next generation product, we're identifying, hey, who's most likely to want to buy, sell, who can save money, and then you need to be able to give a presentation of value. Make sure you guys noted, Josh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, finish your sentence.
Make sure you noted how he walked them through using our product. He's an expert at it. So he already had it built out. He showed program 1, he showed program 2. You can use the highlighting feature. If there was a couple and one of the couple wasn't on the call, you could add a video. Hey, John and Sue, put a video, explain it so that both the partners understand the options. By the way, guys, the headline was, how do you absolutely kill it at conversion? It's very, very high level, but this is how you kill it at conversion. You wanted to say something else?
Last 2 things I'll just say. The sale is made in the Dreams and Goals call, in my opinion, and your ability, the quality of your questions and your ability to duplicate those questions is directly correlated to your success. Then you can build out the strategy that addresses their problems. It's not a generic vanilla strategy. One's going to be Neapolitan and one's going to be BlackBerry. You have to solve their problems, and that's incumbent on us as mortgage advisors, and then dovetail that presentation to solve their problems. If you do those two things, and we're not emailing TCAs anymore. We're driving everybody to a Zoom meeting. If you do those things, if you really understand them, you perception check their issues, you solve for that with data, and you solve their issues and show them the solution with the TCA, your conversion rate will skyrocket.
Love this, bro. Well, hey, I know we had a certain amount of time scheduled for this. Tell everybody if they want to implement this. You guys at Loan Atlas are doing a lot of amazing work at not only sharing ideas, teaching best practices, but helping loan officers implement and execute. How can they learn more?
Yeah, I actually have a webinar we're doing on the 22nd of this month. We have 3 of our highest producers in all of Loan Atlas coming together. These guys are all doing $6, $7, $8 million a month coming together, and we're just going to be talking about conversion.
Ooh.
I don't have the link in front of me, but I will drop the link to the registration page to that on the Facebook page. I can send it to you, Dave. And it's a free webinar, and we'd invite anybody to come check that out. These 3 are ballers. You'll learn a lot about lead conversion if you want to show up.
All right, guys. So I will have that link if you were watching this in YouTube, which most of you are. We'll have the link in show notes. So go check that out. Not to be missed event. I know you're going to learn a lot from that. And let's say you're watching this a year from now. Hey, you can still go to Loan Atlas. I'm sure there's an event. You can sign up for it. It's an incredible platform. Tim Brahim is the leader. Josh is one of the co-heads of faculty. I know most of the faculty, I think most, if not all of them, are mortgage coaches. They're data-driven mortgage coaches. And remember what I said at the very beginning. Guys, yes, Rocket is a threat. And you know what? They're a bigger threat now, especially when it comes to retention. But by the way, so is Zillow. So are a lot of lenders. But you know who the bigger threat is? It's Josh. It's the top producers that are operating at a level of excellence. They're winning their zip code. They're winning their database. So if you want to modern up, make sure you have Mortgage Coach. Again, there'll be a link to sign up for Mortgage Coach if you don't have it. Also, make sure you follow savageinsights.com. Whoever I'm interviewing next is always at the top. If you get into that mobile club, every week I'm sending 2 to 3 messages, and it's all about turning loan officers into data-driven modern mortgage advisors. Brother, any closing thoughts before we wrap it?
Listen to 3 of your sales calls, record them, and then ask somebody who is doing more business to you to record 3 of theirs. And there's nothing better you can do to up your game than that.
Mic drop. Nothing more to be said. Take care, everybody. This is a wrap.
Thanks, everybody.